all the accounts that have been maintained. Why was D.K. Shivakumar tearing up these papers? Were they accounts? Were these payments made to somebody significant? Were these accounts maintained for somebody influential? There's something written here. Shivshankar, Shivakumar, we don't quite know, but it's right here. Shiva is very, very clear, and after that the handwriting is not very legible, so handwriting experts also being called in. But this is file number 1.10. There are other file numbers, and we'll bring you another document. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. This is part of the story. We have another sensational document which has the dates, the times, the phone numbers and accounts. But this is the shredded piece of paper. Just what was D.K. Shivakumar trying to hide? 3.00 plus 8, 11.00. Are these numbers of values of rupees, money in crores of rupees? Was he handling these crores of rupees? Also, here is another sentence that's written, to be collected. To be collected, 10 crores to be collected. From whom were they to be collected? It's written here, and if my camera person can show this very clearly, to be collected is very visible in this paper. To be collected. Where was this money to be collected from? Where was the balance payable? Who did they want to pay this to? And why was D.K. Shivakumar and some of his associates who've been raided over the last 2 days, why were they tearing up these papers?
To be collected. Now, to be collected, balance payable, these are all phrases you only use, Navika, when you're referring to money. This is obviously some sort of a ledger of accounts and payments. Payouts, payments, pains, what have you. Cash is also mentioned. If you look in this softer light here, there is a word cash. So obviously these are cash. These are cash transactions that are mentioned against.
Yes, I can show it to you. I can show it to you right here with the magnifying glass. The cash which is referred right here, the word cash that's been circled in red, cash being mentioned right here, and that cash is the cash probably that this refers to. Now, this clearly, when you're talking about politics in Karnataka and moneyed ministers in Karnataka, couldn't be thousands, couldn't be lakhs. It has to be crores of rupees, and this is the word cash that actually refers to all of this. Also, look at the names here. Shivshankar or Shivakumar, Kaizen is another word, to be collected, balance payable, and some words here which have been torn off, which are still being pieced together by the income tax department. These are the visuals of that torn piece of paper. And it is for this that objections were being made, income tax offices were being stoned because they were doing this job of collecting money like 20 crores, 10 crores in cash and another 10 crores in jewelry that was exchanged in the demonetization era. Is this why objections were being raised by supporters of Mr. D.K. Shivakumar and the Congress party?
Absolutely. Let me just quickly also bring in Anand on the bigger wall, because then we can get in a large sense, Navika, what you have been trying to show using a magnifying glass. Now look at this. Look at this. Yes. Anand, over to you.
Yes, Rahul and Navika, we've been saying all day fictitious numbers decimated, and we've got the right numbers here on Times Now. And we are shredding competition and putting out the proof, piecing together what matters to the country. This is what you're saying as we look at it very, very closely. I'm going to start from the center. You saw the word cash that was highlighted by Navika there. You had the name, it looks like Shekhar written here. Now we have to see what it is. The numbers which are written 1.0, 1.50, 1.00, 2.15, 3.15, 1.55, and it says balance payable 4.80. Now next to this, you have some pencil notings. Like cash is written on this side. I'm just going to be slow here. Sorry. Now like cash is written here. You have, there you go, dues. It looks like it's written dues. There is another name which is Raja, R-A-J-A. That's what it's written here in pencil notings. Now, if I zoom in a little more, it looks like H-O-M-E, home. B, home. That's what's written here. Then you read this piece which talks about, which says Kaizan, K-A-I-Z-E-N. And now here you read to be collected, but this part which is torn to shreds here is F-R-O-M, from. So this part, this jigsaw pieces here together, that's what it looks like at this point. Now, so this is very, very interesting. Now, this part looks like this. Looks like Bangalore is written here. That's what's written here with the brackets, close in brackets. There is a word like B-A-D or B-V-D. Are these initials? We don't know. Of somebody, we do not know. We have to check, and this needs to be verified. Look at this part. Another pencil noting which says 1.10 to the top right shred of this entire piece of the document. And I'm just going to scroll down to the left-hand part, which Navika highlighted. This is a total, this says 3.00. There is a figure called 8, and there is 00, and then it comes to 11, 1, and 10. And there are these further notings at the top, 5 and 5, 10, and it says note. And there is a date which is written here, 5, 3, some noting and observation which is mentioned. So it's very, very interesting how it is all, how this entire shred looks like.
Yeah.
And like you said, Rahul, absolutely content defining. Yeah. Because this is riveting.
I think, Navika, just let's go over these pictures and figures once again. So this is the jigsaw, and there are so many references to cash. Now, it can't be coincidental. These are not just abstract numbers. These definitely refer to payments. Now, are they collections or are they payouts? We don't know. But let's just look at it, and you just do the maths, Navika, once again for our viewers, because it adds up all to a tidy 10 crores. Now, that number has been doing the rounds over the last 24 hours because 10 crores of cash, that's what we are being told, was recovered from one of Mr. D.K. Shivakumar's homes, who happens to be the Mantri in Karnataka, the Congress party. Navika.
That's right. In fact, Rahul, look at these numbers. 3 crore, 8 crore, I presume, and 11 crore is the total. 1 crore sent somewhere, so 10 crore remains to be collected from. The from is kind of still to be ascertained because it is to be collected from whom, to be given to whom. There are also some details that are being mentioned here about 2.15, 3.15, 1.65, a total of 4.80, balance payable. Also cash that is being mentioned here. So there's absolutely no denying the fact that this is referring to cash transactions. It's also all over this place, the entire picture of the numbers that have been entered, which seem to be payouts.
Absolutely. And there are 15 pieces that need to be put together. Now, Navika, where are we in the context of the investigations? I think she's getting more calls from her sources, so perhaps more clarification. But Madhav, where are we in the context of the investigations? Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan with us. The investigations and raids are still going on, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, absolutely. In fact, 48 hours later, the raid still continuing, Rahul, and that's clearly, of course, because investigators are, getting newer and newer leads into various aspects. It's not just the cash. It's this huge and explosive diary entries that, in fact, Navika has spoken about. Also details of properties and so on and so forth, which are in the name of other relatives of D.K. Shivkumar. Several such other leads that investigators are getting as they have covered more than 39 locations across the country and perhaps getting newer and newer leads into the various transactions. We must remember that D.K. Shivkumar was the urban development minister. He was, of course, a minister in the cabinet of S.M. Krishna right from 1999 and is believed to be one of the, wealthiest ministers in Karnataka. In that light, certainly, of course, now that these probes have begun, all of his assets...
Well, we can confirm that there is a raid that is being conducted even as we speak on the astrologer of the Mantri. Now, Navika, to the second most sensational aspect of this entire expose tonight. A second note prepared by an alleged Hawala operator by the name of Rajendra is the most sensational. This contains references to payments of 3 crores made to the AICC. Now, the AICC initials are in common parlance the abbreviation for the All India Congress Committee. At times now has been told that when the raids were taking place, this note was recovered. So also the page ripped out of the diary and shredded. So Navika, let's just go over this very important note.
That's right. In my hand, I hold this most important note, which are payments to AICC, and which we presume AICC, as it stands for in all Karnataka diary, this could be referring to the All India Congress Committee. That's the question we are asking. And look at these numbers. These are collections and these are payments. Right here, it says out of 4 crore, 3 crore given to AICC. This is AICC mentioned right here. And it does a totaling of 1 crore, 2 crore, 1 crore, which is 4 crore total. And says out of 4 crore, 3 crore given to AICC. Look at the dates. There are entry dates. 3rd of January 2017, received from Rajesh. That's the name. There are phone numbers that are given here. Phone numbers that we don't need to go into at the moment before we look at this entire issue. It says phone number, so-and-so, junior engineer Kamal. Also cell number given here, 1 crore collection, 2 crore collection on the 5th of January 2017. 5th of January 2017. Again, there is a name that's mentioned, Mr. Bharan Lal. Bharan Lal is the name given here. He's a cable operator, it seems like, because it says cable. And this is the money that has been corrected, 1 crore. Again, cell phone numbers, 2 cell phone numbers have been given here. But the most sensational part is this AICC reference. Out of 4 crore, it's 3 crores given to the AICC. AICC, if I can pan my camera onto these words, AICC. This is the word that refers to AICC. The question we are asking is this payment made to the All India Congress Committee in Delhi? And let me tell you, Rahul, one of the biggest things that brings really the question to 8 crores have been actually collected, recovered from a residence location in Safdarjung Enclave in Delhi, where there was a person who's an aide of Mr. DKS. He was carrying 8 crore rupees in the house. Counting machines from the income tax department went to this residence to find out and count. Why was this money in Delhi? Was this money being supplied by Mr. DKS to AICC as well? Was this to be added to the 3 crore that has been given here? Was the 8 crore meant for somebody here? We don't know, but payments to AICC are recorded in this, and this document belongs to Rajendra, who is a Hawala operator connected with Mr. DKS, DK Shivakumar, the Mantri who was raided yesterday. His associates were raided, and this is where it's been picked up from. 4 crore, 3 crore given to AICC, and 8 crore rupees being got from a Delhi location. We'll also take you through the flight number, because Mr. DK Shivakumar was in Delhi on the 1st of August, hours before the raid was conducted.
Yeah,
he left this money here. He came and counted that.
We'll come to that in just a few moments, but let's just focus on this all-important document. Now, Navika, there are obviously 3 things that we need to focus on. Number 1, that this is supposed to be a ledger or a page of a ledger that has been recovered from an alleged Hawala operator. That's point 1. Now, it refers to collections. At least 3 tranches of collections, Navika, received from Rajesh, obviously somebody who has brought in some money. Telephone number, person through which this collection was made, both telephone numbers, cell numbers of both, Rajesh the contributor and Kamal, who is the person who is the conduit, 1 crore, 50117. So this goes back to January, I presume. 50117, once again 2 crores from Rajesh Kamal. Now all of these are entries that have been made on a particular date, and if you look at the date right on the right hand side of this document, Navika, if you could just focus on that, there you can see 301 and 501.
Yes, these are dates of, yes, these are dates of 3rd of January and 5th of January, both of them mentioned here, 301, 3/01 and 5/1, which is 2 dates in January, and here are the details given of those dates. 3/01/17, which means 3rd of January 2017, received from Rajesh and through Mr. Kamal, both the phone numbers listed here, 1 crore rupees. 5th of January, again received from Rajesh through Mr. Kamal, 2 crore rupees. Then 5th of January, a third entry of Mr. Bhavar Lal, cable D9 through Mr.
Sanjay.
Chatrudan or Sanjay, Mr. Sanjay and Mr. Chatrudan, again 1 crore rupees. Numbers of both Sanjay and Chatrudan listed over here, and total is 4 crore. Out of 4 crore, 3 crore given to AICC. And then it says today 5/01/17 with Shri V. Mulugund. Balance 1 crore rupees. So Mulugund holds the balance of 1 crore rupees after 3 crores have been given to the AICC. Now questions need to be asked, and Rahul Gandhi needs to answer. Who does this refer to? What does AICC mean? Is this the connection between DK Shivakumar and the Congress party? Is this the reason why Rahul Gandhi has shown absolutely no will to sack DK Shivakumar after 10-11 crores in cash have been recovered from his residence? Why are these payments to AICC? Why should they not be questioned? Because these are 3 crore payments that have been made to the AICC and 1 crore balance being held by Shri V. Mulugand.
Absolutely, and it's not as if all of this is without a context, Navika. There is also a confession that has been made of an individual who describes himself as a close aide of Mr. Shivakumar. We'll just come out to that in just a few moments. But taken together, both these documents, both these pages, the shredded page that I've got in my hand, which has been accessed by Navika Kumar, clearly makes out a number of payments, perhaps collections, and the sum total is 10 crores. It's right there at the bottom. Sum total is 10 crores. Now, this sum total is the most intriguing number, Navika, because yesterday on this very show, I remember you coming in and breaking an aspect of this story. 10 crores in two contexts, the cash as well as the 10 crores that was recovered in the form of jewelry, if I'm not mistaken. A cabinet full of cash, full of 10 crore notes. We'll get out those pictures also in just a few moments. That was the first inkling we got, Navika, that there was cash that was recovered in those huge quantities. And as the raiders went in, as the income tax sleuths went in, they carried counting machines, cash counting machines. So obviously, it takes a while to count 10 crores, a huge sum of money. And we have no illusions or under any illusion that that cash was actually recovered from the residents, because you saw the cabinet stuffed with cash, wads of money. How this individual managed to, through demonetization, retain this kind of cash, how he came to be in possession of this kind of cash, one doesn't know. Those are questions that will be asked, Navika, at all levels. Now, the Congress party got up in Parliament yesterday and said that, look, this is a witch hunt against us all. Though that's the catch. That's the physical representation of the documents that you're seeing to the right of your screens. That's the physical representation. Neat bundles of cash stacked up in cabinets, in knapsacks. There you can see them. That's a backpack full of cash. Questions will be asked, Navika, now. Questions will be asked, and there are several. There are several to be asked, and let's put out some of those questions, and they're at the bottom of our screens. Let's just go over some of these questions. Can at any level now the Congress still cry vendetta? when all of this is mounting. Why is the AICC listed among beneficiaries of rupees 3 crores in a note found with an alleged Hawala operator? Does the AICC actually stand for the All India Congress Committee? Because that's what we know it to be in common parlance, Navika. And this is not in isolation. There was once, a few months ago on Times Now, another diary expose. A diary recovered from a member of the Congress
Karnataka.
Party.
Coincidence, Rahul.
Too many.
Even that diary was from Karnataka. It had sensational entries, again referring to some individuals in the AICC, some initials that were mentioned there. But the questions that also beg an answer is, why was Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, the Karnataka Mantri of the Congress Party, tearing up these papers? Was he afraid that some of these accounts of money that were made for political bigwigs were something that would get to the hands of the income tax officials? Also, why did Mr. D.K. Shivkumar come to Delhi just a day before the raids?
Yes.
We'll get you the details of that, but why was he here just a day before the raids? And let me tell you, Rahul, yesterday what we broke about the jewelry, let me give you the accounts, and these are the accounts with the reference to the jewelry that were found from Mr. D.K. Shivkumar's residence, in fact his sister's residence, where the gold and the ornaments were found from. 1.9 crore, 82 lakhs, 2.08 crore, 1.34 crore, 2.22 crore, 1.46 crore, 2.6 crores. These are the various transactions where before demonetization this money was converted into gold and jewelry. Also, the name of Khushi Diamonds appeared in this particular document that was seized from that locker in Karnataka, in a college premise belonging to one of the kin of D.K. Shivkumar, Khushi Diamonds. And these were the entries of how the tranches were exchanged, demonetization notes exchanged for gold and jewelry. All the accounts given here.
Let's go across to Anand so we can blow this up on the video wall. Let's go straight across to him. Anand, over to you.
Well, this is how it looks now, and it's very intriguing as we look at the notings at this point. 2 plus 2 crore, 1 crore, and how the money goes. And it's absolutely fantastic as we see this 3rd of January 2017. Wonder what happened around that time. If we can jog back our memories, did we do another story where we talked about diary notings? I don't know, but what was the Congress Party so busy with making these collections? And at the bottom tumbles out this name and this number and this AICC. The moment you see that, you have to be very, very sharp of the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that this money was going somewhere to the Congress High Command. And that's why we want to ask the 10 crore parallels that Navika and Rahul were talking about. And the other aspect is when you have income tax raids and seizures and the Congress Party goes out to protest. So clearly, something is wrong. These 3 crores have been given to AICC, and somebody by the name of V. Mulgund, you see at the bottom, is holding on to 1 more crore, which is supposed to go across to the AICC. So what does that AICC mean? You and us. It's a common man's guess. It's an abbreviation. Everybody knows. And who is this Mr. V. Mulgund? We're going to try and get in touch with them. And Rahul, our team is trying to call up all these numbers on top. You see these numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are about 5 numbers which we have to call and see who these people are and how is it that they are holding such huge sums. 3 crores. 3 crores that's been given. 1 crore, which is still being held, balance as of 5th of January 2017. So clearly, that money must have gone and passed hands and changed hands. But these notings are of very, very serious nature. And Rahul, as we stay with this, if I can just show you another observation from the previous note that Navika also put out. It's very interesting that there are places mentioned in the torn note. If we can flip to that, there it says, yeah, there you see Mysore there at the top right corner. It's Mysore.
Mysore.
Yeah,
that's right.
And beneath and above that, it's actually the torn shred, piece it together, and it says check.
Check. That's right.
It's check. It's check. And below that is Bangalore. That's what's written. Just below Mysore, it says BAD or something as an abbreviation I pointed out earlier. And below that, it's Bangalore.
Bangalore.
And this person, if you just move, I'm moving it to the center where we talked about Mr. Shivshankar or whoever it is. He might share your surname, but it's clearly there. But beneath that, that person is Mr. Somshekhar.
Doesn't share my bank account though.
Somshekhar, and that Somshekhar is mentioned.
Terrible luck, Rahul.
So luck, Anand. None of that money coming my way.
No,
yes.
We don't need that. We don't need that. We are happy with the real numbers, not these fictitious ones. But not the fictitious ones. You see, now here, now look at this. And these are the dubious ones. We certainly don't want them. We want to report them and talk them about.
Yeah, honest hard work, yes, fine.
Somshekhar and Somshekhar.
Yeah.
You see, there are two Somshekhars mentioned in the same page and against varying amounts. You see 5 lakhs Somshekhar and then 5 lakhs cash and 10 lakhs Somshekhar. I don't know. We have to see. Handwriting experts will get it. But
it must be crores.
Yeah.
Anand,
oh, beg your pardon.
The Karnataka ministers don't deal in lakhs. They deal in crores.
I stand corrected.
The last I heard.
I stand corrected there. When they say 5.00, this is the lingo. We've seen diary notings in the past. It's crore. If it was lakhs, it would have been in decimals. It would have been 0.05 or 0.5. That's how it would have been. But there you go. As we keep seeing these notes, this is where the fun is. It's like a jigsaw puzzle which we are going to put piece together with our viewers this evening, Rahul. And at each time, there will be a different facet that will come out, emerge.
Absolutely. I mean, let's just have a look at this. Look at this. Look at this visual perspective. There you can see it. To the left is the torn note with lots of incriminating details of payments, balance payable, accounts of transactions. In the middle is the bundle of cash that was seized from the house of the man to the right of you, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar, powerful and influential mantri in Karnataka. That really sums it up, doesn't it, Navika? It sums it up. Big questions, really. Big, huge questions have to be answered by the Congress. Does the confession prove that DKS was making arrangements to organize cash for Congress? Because this is all backed, Navika, and let's go to that confession. Let's talk about that confession. Now, there is an individual who goes by the name of Mr. Anjaneya, H. Anjaneya. He's a close aide, we are told, of D.K. Shivakumar. And what does he say, Navika? Let's just read out. Let's read it out. A question was asked, wasn't it? A question was asked, please state how 6.6 crore as per in estimate was stored in the residence. Navika, now would you like us to, why don't you take us through the answer?
That's right. In fact, this is something that I have accessed from my sources in the tax department. There was a questionnaire that was given, and these are questions that were asked of Mr. H. Anjaneya. He is an employee of Karnataka Bhavan, from what we are being told. He's an employee of Karnataka Bhavan, a close aide of Mr. D.K. Shivakumar. He was the man who actually was trusted by Shivakumar for his Delhi work. Now, question number 7 that was asked to Mr. H. Anjaneya, he replies to that. How did 6.6 crore get stored in the residence? He replies to that saying, during the course of the last week, one person by the name of Shailendra, and he gives the phone number of that person, whose main work was whose name was stored in the phone book that he had as Nair for Shailendra DKS Vinay. We don't know who these individuals are, but this is the statement that he made, and the name was stored as Nair for Shailendra DKS Vinay. Will you explain, was the question asked to him, and he says, 3 times somebody called Shailendra came to me and deposited money with me. 1 crore, 2.5 crore, 1.5 crore respectively on 3 different occasions. So that makes it a total of 5 crore that came to him on 3 different occasions by a man called Shailendra, who was stored in his book as Nair for Shailendra DKS Vinay. The remaining 1.6 crore was brought by me from B2107 Safdarjung Enclave, B2/107 Safdarjung Enclave, during the last week and it was placed here. I was directed by DK Shivkumar to move the cash from B2107 to the current premises, that is B5/201. I'm not sure why I was asked to move the cash. As far as I know, the amount of rupees 5 crore also which Shailendra had brought to this residence was also brought here under the direction of Mr. DK Shivkumar. This is his statement to the tax authorities. I have not stated this till now because I was afraid of consequences, but I can say that this is the truth. I'm not sure of the source of the cash. H. Anjaneya has signed this document on the 2nd of August 2017. That's yesterday. Joining me on the phone line is Mr. Brajesh Kalappa, Congressman from Karnataka. Mr. Brajesh Kalappa, spilling the beans is Mr. H. Anjaneya, who is an associate. We understand he is an employee of the Karnataka Bhavan, and he has said that Mr. DK Shivkumar directed one Mr. Shailendra to place cash worth 6.6 crores with him. Is this something that the Congress will now defend, Mr. Kalappa? Will you still have your workers break the property of the income tax department because DK Shivkumar is being raided?
No, I don't understand. See, first thing is that these are income tax proceedings where there is a raid which has taken place. Now, on the basis of the raid, the income tax department will initiate proceedings against Mr. DK Shivkumar. And I think if some amounts have been found, to the best of my knowledge, according to me, there is nothing found. And if there is something found, then it's purely a tax liability. Mr. Shivkumar has already declared assets worth 250 crore.
What about payments of 3 crore? What about payments of 3 crore to AICC? Do you understand, as we do, what does AICC stand for? There are collections of 4 crore shown on a piece of paper and payments to AICC of 3 crore.
No, let's assume...
Mr. Brajesh Kalappa, was the 6.6 crore also meant for the AICC?
No, let's assume for a moment that what you're saying is right and that the amount has actually gone to AICC. If a person is worth 250 crore, if he's making a contribution of 3 crore to the AICC, what's the difficulty?
No, but has it then been registered?
Okay, in cash,
no, Mr. Kalappa, then will this have been put out?
Cash,
okay, will this have been then put out, Mr. Kalappa, in the tax returns of the party? Would this have been shown to have been a donation made on a certain particular date?
No, I'm saying that if I don't know if what you're saying.
No, because any transaction above 20,000 needs to be officially declared.
1 minute, Rahul. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
The point is that I am assuming that what you're saying is right. In the first case, we know what the judgment in regard to LK Advani is. That supposing there is a finding, that it has to be corroborated by diary entry. It can't just be diary entries. It has to be corroborated by other evidence. You know all the law in regard to the subject. Now let's assume that there has been some piece of paper, scrap of paper, which you say has gone to the AICC. First, Mr. Shivkumar has to say, yes, this amount has gone to the AICC. Two, AICC has to confirm that, yes, this amount has come. I'm saying, on the basis of what you're reporting, that this amount has gone to AICC, very well, let's accept it on the face and say that very well this amount has gone to AICC. But what is the difficulty if Mr. Shivkumar has made a contribution to the AICC? We all make contributions to the AICC.
Mr. Brajesh Kalappa, okay, Mr. Brajesh Kalappa, I'll tell you the difficulties. I'll tell you the difficulties. Number one, as Rahul asked, is this accounted for? Because this money, as per this document, came on the 5th of January 2017.
Yes.
Which means in the tax returns that will be filed in March itself, you would have declared this income. But the question is, if this money is being paid in cash, 3 crore in cash, is Congress party avoiding income tax rules and election commission guidelines to take payments in cash from their own ministers working in Karnataka? Isn't this flouting the election commission guidelines?
No, I don't know why you are jumping the gun. If there is a finding which this amount of rupees 3 crore which you state has been found, which has apparently gone to AICC, the first thing that the income tax officer who has conducted the raid will look at the papers and he'll say, look, this amount has apparently gone to AICC. Then he will make the appropriate inquiries. He will find out from AICC if this amount has come. He will issue notice. Okay. And he will also issue notice to the
Okay, but Mr. Kalappa, you do realize, and I want you to stay on with me for about 30 more seconds. I'm joined also by Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. He's going to be speaking to us one-on-one. Just stay on with me, sir. Dr. Swamy, we have accessed documents, Dr. Swamy, that suggest that Mr. DK Shivkumar, at least on the face of it, kept account of cash transactions, contributions, dispersals of cash, very meticulous ones in a diary. Now, one of the pages he is thought to have ripped up and tried to discard when he was being raided. Another page was recovered from an alleged Hawala operator. It's all here. Now, sir, can a case be made out under the law, or because certain precedences exist that diary entries are not supposed to be considered, etc., this is worthless?
Well, see, this ignorance of the law permeates in our political circles. This Advani's judgment that is frequently quoted is only because that's all that they had. But please read the Evidence Act. For investigative purposes, custodial interrogation, for registering the charge sheet, all these things, diary entry is sufficient evidence according to the Evidence Act. But it's only when you have nothing else. So what you do is, you arrest Mr. DKS and subject him to custodial interrogation, and then whoever is being named in those chits, they should also be interrogated. The AICC should be asked to produce receipts. When did they deposit the money? In which bank? And these are the ways to do it. All that this, your revelation is that it has now opened the stage for investigation based on the CRPC. And that should be taken as logical end. All these people are being caught red-handed. And now it's prima facie cases.
So, Dr. Swamy, what you're saying is that
collection will take place.
So what you're saying is that an arrest is inevitable now. That's what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. DK should be immediately taken to custody and then subject to custodial interrogation.
Well, that's a very important intervention. Stay on with me, sir. Just 1 second. Let me bounce this off Mr. Brijesh Kalappa. Mr. Kalappa, there are 2 or 3 aspects to this. Number one, obviously, the Congress party now needs to come out and go beyond crying victim as it has been, both in Parliament and outside. 1. 2, Mr. Kalappa, an arrest looms. An arrest looms, and therefore, either Mr. Gandhi now suspends Mr. DK for a few weeks till this probe is conducted, etc., or he comes out and admits that money has been accepted.
No, I've heard Dr. Swamy just now speak, and he said exactly the same thing, and while couching it as if, you know, the other person didn't know the law. Incidentally, Mr. Swamy is not a lawyer, so I don't know if he claims to be a lawyer, but in any case, that's
Dr. Swamy out of this, respond on merit.
No, that's okay. That's besides the point. No, but I fully support Dr. Swamy. What he says is right, that custodial interrogation is necessary. Then certainly Dr. Swamy will also accept that in the Sahara Birla case, Mr. Narendra Modi has to be custodially interrogated because there is a direct finding. There are papers which have found Mr. Narendra Modi's name. Then certainly Dr. Swamy is equally stating that the Prime Minister has to be custodially interrogated and found out what the truth of the matter is.
No, there's only one specific difference here, that cash was recovered from the home of Mr. DK Shivakumar. That's the difference. And you can see those pictures,
the amount
sir.
has been paid to
No,
Mr.
I remember,
Modi,
sir, this morning you tweeted.
The fact that he's so powerful, you can't look for the cash. But if you do a search and seizure, you will find the cash in his home. Where is the? Why don't you do a search of his home?
Okay, I think no, we can't stretch a point
No, why?
Because it begins to sound, no, when you stretch it that far, it begins to sound slightly, no, you're trivializing this issue.
If it's somebody from the
You're trivializing the issue. Can you deny?
Mr. Brajesh Kalappa, there is yet another pertinent point. Now, Mr. H. Anjanya, who is the aide of Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, in his answers to the questions raised by the income tax authorities, has admitted that 6.6 crores were placed by him in the Delhi residence. The question is, will you deny, number one, that 6.6 crores belong to Mr. D.K. Shivkumar? After all, Mr. Anjanya does not have the resources to have that kind of money. And number two, was this money in Delhi for supply to the AICC? And will you say that because 6.6 crore is something that Mr. D.K. Shivkumar can afford, so even if it goes to AICC, no questions should be asked?
No, the first thing is that as far as Mr. Anjanya is concerned, you know that somebody who is being interrogated by any authority squarely comes under Section 25 of the Evidence Act, where he can make any kind of confessional statement. It's not, he's not going to be held against him in a court of law. You know that. And the usual thing is that if anybody is caught, usually whatever the income tax officer says, they usually sign up and say, whatever, look, I'll sign to whatever you want, just don't beat me.
Okay.
So this is the primary
thing.
So
Mr. Kalappa, now you made two charges. Number one, that all of this, of course, is part of a vendetta witch hunt, and the individual who's also confessing has been done under coercion.
If you gave me the opportunity, I would have said that. Look, I'll tell you what the story
you're
is.
Alleging coercion.
Since you've started it, let me complete the story. The point is this, that BJP has, for the last so many elections, you've seen how they've done it in Uttarakhand. You've seen how they've done it in Arunachal Pradesh. They got smacked on the face by the Supreme Court, no less, by trying to pay MLAs off. Now, after that, they've done the same thing in Goa. They've done the same thing in
Well, sir, it's your people who have been found with the cash.
Let me complete my thought, please. See, they've done the same thing in Manipur and in Goa. And the press...
Well, why don't you come out and prove it, sir? Why don't you hold a press conference with the proof, just like we have? We've got the documents. Now, I'm not saying that all of this is watertight. I've never made that claim, and neither is Navika. We've said that these are documents that have been recovered from people who are being investigated. Now, one second. I want to bring in Dr. Swami. Dr. Swami, we are being told that everything is coerced, everything is planted, everything is implanted, and everything is vendetta. How do you respond to this? How do you respond to this charge, sir?
Well, it's become a stale argument. Every time they say that. In National Herald, they said it. Ultimately, they had to take bail after getting arrested in the court. There's no case in which they don't say it's a vendetta. That's a hackneyed and a very stale excuse. Second thing I must tell you, that I know at least 20% of the lawyers, according to one server, don't know any law at all. You can get an LLB and not know the law. And I've seen this all over. And here is a case where Mr. Tilappa or Brijesh brings out the case of the Sahara thing. That went before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said neither the Sahara owner is admitting to this, nor anybody else is admitting to it. You get some evidence. Where did you get this? Here we have caught him red-handed, trying to destroy evidence. How can he compare it with Sahara? This shows he should go back to college, or at least get a new college, because where he must have studied, they didn't teach him any law.
Well, look, those are parallels that can't be drawn. I agree with you there on the face of it. The Supreme Court has ruled the weight of evidence in both cases is completely different. So you're absolutely right, Dr. Swami.
On this subject. According to Dr. Swami, this subject has been ruled by the Supreme Court. Mr. Modi has not been ruled by the Supreme Court. I don't know what he was trying to say.
No, but Mr. Brijesh Kalappa,
certainly not gone before the Supreme Court.
No, Mr. Kalappa, the Supreme Court was quite harsh. If you remember, the Supreme Court was quite harsh.
Supreme Court has merely stated.
No. One second.
Let me offer a little bit of what I know. See, Supreme Court has merely stated that, if there is a detailed investigation, certainly the Sahara and Birla papers could go through. There was no investigation because the Honorable Prime Minister is sitting on it. How will he permit an investigation against himself? Will he permit an investigation?
Sir, let me read out. Well, one second, Mr. Kalappa. Let me read out something to you. Let me read out something. A few months ago, IT raids were conducted on the residences of Minister Ramesh Jharkholi, KPCC, Women Wing President Lakshmi Hebalkar, and Congress MLA MTB Nagaraj. And Mr. Jharkholi later went on to say an entire state cabinet would become empty if all ministers raided by the IT department were to resign, and claimed that IT department provided false information. Now, this is one aspect. Before that, you had a situation where in the Robert Vadra matter, again, Vendetta was claimed as a private individual under attack. You have had several instances, and not just this one, several instances of Congress constantly coming up. Mr. P. Chidambaram in defense of his son, VBS, who is, of course, the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, coming out and saying Vendetta, Vendetta. Everyone is smacked with Vendetta when it comes to the Congress. Fine, if that is your defense, I think the people will judge it. We leave it at that. We leave it at that, Mr. Kalappa. Thank you for speaking to us. Navika, I want to bring you back into this. Navika, I think, and Dr. Swami, thank you for joining us this evening. But Navika, I just want you to take us over those documents once again, because those documents is where the story is at.
That's right. Document number 1. This is the shredded document, the document that was being torn up by Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. And look at the entries here. 1.50, 5.00, 5.00, a total of 10. And remember, 10 crore is what has been recovered. Again, there is a breakup of 10. 3, 8 comes to 11, and then 1 goes somewhere, and therefore it's 10. There is the mention of the word cash here. There is the mention of balance payable. There is the mention of Kaizen. We don't know what Kaizen stands for. There is Shivshankar or Shivakumar or something that's written here. Shiva is very legible. The rest we'll have to find out. Then there is check. There is Bangalore. There is Mysore. There are again some additions here. 2.15, 3.15, 1.65, 4.80, and also if you look at these entries here, there are to somebody called Raja. There are some DYRS or DKS as it looks at this point. What were these payments? This is the note that D.K. Shivkumar and his kin who were raided were trying to destroy. Why were they so upset about this note getting into the hands of the tax departments? Because these were cash transactions. The word cash mentioned right here. And this cash transaction is something that was making DKS very, very nervous. The second paper, a total correction of 4 crore rupees. First collection of 1 crore on the 3rd of January from a person called Rajesh through a person called Kamal. The numbers of both Rajesh and Kamal given here, we'll try and call these numbers and find out what they say. Another collection of 2 crore rupees from the same 2 individuals, Rajesh through Mr. Kamal on this cell phone number, coming in on the 5th of January 2017, and one from Bhani Lal or Bhavni Lal, one coming here. This seems to be a cable operator coming in through Sanjay. Again, 2 phone numbers given here and 1 crore collected from them on the 1st of January, and these are details of 3 and 5 January, and this is out of 4 crore, 3 crore given to AICC. AICC, absolutely. That's the mystery payment, and can the Congress explain this?
That's the most damning. That's the most damning aspect of all of this. What does AICC stand for? It doesn't take Einstein to decode that. Let me just quickly bring in Nalin Kohli, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Alimuddin Khan, political analyst Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate. Let me first begin with you, Mr. Nalin Kohli. These documents cut through. Congress claims that there is a witch hunt, unprecedented witch hunt, just to win 1 Rajya Sabha seat, as Ahmed Patel had said. What would you say now?
Plenty to say. Let's look at everything that's happened over the last 2 days, and which Mr. Jaitley yesterday on your channel spoke about. These are income tax raids which have yielded in Mr. Shivakumar's properties, about 10 crores cash, other. No MLA from Gujarat, that's a Congress party MLA from Gujarat, has been interrogated, contacted by any income tax department official. The only reason they went to the resort in question was to bring Mr. Shivakumar so that he can be put in front and his statement can be recorded with regard to the seizures and what he has to say about it. Congress's entire argument since yesterday non-stop is vendetta, which is a correct argument because Narendra Modi's government has a vendetta against black money, corruption, corrupt practices. We know that from day one, the first cabinet meeting. And the second is they are saying Gujarat elections, but not a word on the fact that 10 crores cash has been found. Now 10 crores is not an amount that you keep for, shall we say, shopping, or let's go out for dinner and you keep that for Golgappa chaat or something like that. It's a huge sum of money in cash. Now you find a note, you have accessed it. This note seems to indicate entries and a record of the transactions or movement of funds with people's names, etc. Before anyone gives says that you can't admit it in a diary, all Jain Hawala diary, all the principles, the critical thing of circumstantial evidence can't be forgotten. First, is this in Mr. Shivakumar's handwriting or a handwriting that's identified and is close to him? Then it means it is part of that entire operation. That is easy verifiable because there is enough science with handwriting analysis that will prove it. Second is the fact of it wanting to be destroyed. That means it is something that would have revealed something that is extremely damaging and therefore should not come into the hands of the investigative agencies, in this case the Income Tax Act. So that's the second. And the third is the word AICC. Now we only know one AICC.
Yeah, but the Congress says, and you must have heard them, Mr. Nalin Kohli, the Congress has come out and said, so what? If a rich party man like Mr. D.K. Shivakumar contributes to our cause, what's the big deal? What's the big deal?
No, there is no. Absolutely, that's a fair thing. In fact, the Congress party should also take credit for another thing. Their Garibi Hatao Nara of Indira Gandhi these days is certainly working very well for Congress people, because wherever the Congress is involved, there is corruption. And cash always is dealt in large numbers, and we talk of lakhs of crores. So therefore they can take many credits, but the only credit they can't take away from Narendra Modi's government is that the attack on black money, the attack on corrupt practices.
Okay, Alimuddin Khan, would you like to respond to that?
And will follow itself through. Do they have a cogent answer?
Has the Congress been caught in bold? Has the Congress here been caught in bold?
Sir, I have bigger expose than yours, after 10 days, we are going to Islamabad with the Tiranga because as per BJP spokesperson, Foreign Affairs Secretary Mr. Sasadri, Pakistan is not going to celebrate their independence day this year, so we are going to take Tiranga to Islamabad as per BJP.
Sir,
and Article 370 already removed.
Alimuddin Khan Sahab, where are you? Where are you, sir? Where are you?
What is this?
Respond to the question. What a garbled response.
I am with you, sir. I am with you, sir. I am with you, sir. Dawood Ibrahim is in Arthur jail, sir. Dawood Ibrahim is in Arthur jail in Mumbai, facing execution very soon.
Now, Mr. Alimuddin Khan, you're not doing justice to your own intelligence. Someone will say that Alimuddin Khan today has lost the ability to argue on merit. So let me, while you collect your thoughts, sir, let me bring in Mr. Hegre. Mr. Hegre, let me ask you a pointed question. Has the Congress been caught in bold, sir? What do you believe?
Yeah. Well, the Congress has been caught the same way that the BJP was caught, where Nalin Kohli quite correctly mentioned the Jain Hawala case. You see, in the Jain Hawala case, the Supreme Court ruled that loose sheets do not constitute evidence. Unless they are books of accounts kept in the regular course, they do not constitute evidence. Then thereafter, you see, there were the Birla Sahara diaries, where there were payments made to a lot of people, including the then Chief Minister of Gujarat. The Supreme Court has again ruled that those also we will not are not enough to order an inquiry by the Supreme Court. Of course, there's nothing which prevents the Income Tax Department from making its further inquiries. I'm sure that the income tax department will first inquire into those 25 crores, then come after this 10 crores. The more rich people get into trouble, I am happy because there is more work for lawyers. I would wish that the income tax department went after a few more political parties, got some more evidence rather than these loose sheets. These loose sheets are not evidence. That
even when they are recovered from the house of an individual.
I would wish.
No, I mean, Mr. Hegde.
Nalin Kohli's.
Mr. Hegde, even when they are recovered from the trash can of the man that is being raided, that is what we are being told. Mr. Nalin Kohli, would you like to respond?
No, I would like to respond. In fact, I'm a little happy today because Mr. Hegde and I will now be on the same page on two fronts. As colleagues at bar at the Supreme Court and today as political representatives of certain thoughts. Because he's made a political argument, so I must answer it also. Political, legal, whatever argument in the same tone. In the Sahara case, what was additionally point? I started my entire proposition by pointing out that in this particular case, the circumstances, the very fact its destruction and its forensic analysis in terms of handwriting, etc., the telephone trail will all contribute to establish the credibility of the note. In every other case that Mr. Hegde has counted, whether the Jain Hawala or anything, there was nothing around except a piece of paper with something written on it. So tomorrow, that is the law, if I pick up a diary or you pick up a diary and we write Mr. Hegde's name, or he picks up a diary, writes my name or your name, and writes...
No, if it's so incidental.
Obviously.
Mr. Hegde, if it is so incidental.
But if money is transacted...
If it is nothing...
There is evidence around it. You can't disregard it.
Or it is D.K. Kumar...
No, एक minute. Mr. Alimuddin Khan, if this diary is of no value, then why was the person who was being raided allegedly tearing it to shreds? Did he suddenly get a fit of frustration and he
to tear it? No,
and why would you keep meticulous records such as this and then you begin to shred it when you're being raided?
Rahul ji,
why not?
Blunt and timid BJP is totally frustrated despite
now, Mr. Hegde,
totally
you know,
because of this Rajya Sabha election.
I'll tell you why not. Because it will be held against you. It looks rather suspicious. Words like AICC on another page recovered from. One second.
All drama is being played.
1 second, sir. Cash recovered from your residence.
Ahmad Patel ji winning this seat on 8th of August.
Cash recovered from your cupboards, your cabinets, your knapsacks. They correspond to total here. Look at the total. It's 10 lakhs.
First time they are using income
it's 10 lakhs. It's 10 crores rather. It's 10 crores. 10 crores. 10 crores. 1 minute. 10 crores is also recovered coincidentally from a cabinet in your own home. 10 crores here, 10 crores there. How does this all square up, Mr. Hegde? 1 minute, Mr. Alimuddin Khan, 1 second, while you collect your thoughts, 1 second, which are all over the place. Mr. Hegde, 10 crores recovered, listen. 10 crores in this diary which are suddenly torn up. Strange.
Listen. I am not going to rush to judgment on any piece of paper which you flash around saying it was torn, it was not torn. I am only telling you that the more that the rich people get into trouble, that there is more work for lawyers. I am very happy.
Okay,
I have seen a
you're getting vicarious kicks out of all of this in anticipation of the money. Well, if the money has been, well, let me tell you, Mr. Hegde, if the money has now been confiscated, you won't even get your legal fees.
To the Chief Minister's corruption there.
No, so if the money has been confiscated,
I want one law for everyone.
Okay, one law.
If you find that there is some kind of paper and there is some kind of cash and that is enough to put people away, then fine, let's go operate on that basis, whether it is Jain Hawala, whether it is Birla Sahara or
Birla Sahara's, the matter went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ruled, and you know what the Supreme Court said.
But show me
very
where
caustic.
was cash ever found in any one of
Absolutely,
these cases?
no cash. 1 minute, we leave it at that. There is also incidental evidence. Don't forget, incidental evidence. Incidental evidence. Cash recovered. Physical cash recovered. Gentlemen, I need to wind this up. The news are coming up with